Welcome to Healing the Spirit, a space where we awaken our creativity, deepen our connections, and remember who we are through the lens of astrology, archetypes, and art making. I'm your host, Jonathan Coe. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Healing the Spirit, and welcome to this episode. I am so excited that you're here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being willing to contemplate yourself, your path, your spiritual and creative unfolding. And I feel so honored and privileged to be spending this time with you. I want to begin simply by saying, what do I want to say here at the start? You know, doing these readings, it's really easy to kind of get into an automatic state of introducing it the same every single time, and like talking about what this is about, how you should receive this reading, and kind of get into a doldrum around that. And I'm keeping this fun for you, and I'm keeping this fun for myself. So I'm trying to break out of that. I think here's what I want to say. This coming week, if you're listening at the time that I'm releasing this, I'm really looking at the week of July 27th. But as I like to say, it doesn't actually matter, right? Like because time is not linear, if you found this episode at another time, then very likely the coming week, my intention is for you to use this episode for the coming week. So whenever you found this episode, this coming week for you, what I'm seeing is there's intensity here. There's intensity, and the intensity is not hidden. It's not subtle. It's like right in your face. There's something very confronting about this coming week that is actually, as I see it, if you take the opportunity to be with the intensity of this moment, if you take the opportunity to really kind of put yourself on the path of growth and of expansion, of allowing yourself to be challenged in order for you to see the version of you that's on the other side, what I'm seeing is there's actually a lot of growth that could happen at a very short amount of time. And that's very, very exciting because you've been craving this growth. And it could feel like the rug is being pulled from underneath you. But here's what I'll say about that. Imagine for this coming week that your life is an opera. If you've ever watched any operas, they're so dramatic, right? Like these characters, and I'm not talking about soap operas, I'm talking about like actual opera, like opera that you go to the opera house to watch, right? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can just Google opera, and see maybe a couple clips from YouTube. There's a level of heightened drama that is coming through this week that my suggestion is for you to stay under, is for you to kind of recognize that this is happening, to enjoy the entertainment value of the drama, but to keep one eye in. And what I mean by that is to posturally, energetically give yourself permission to duck under and to see what's actually going on underneath the hood. Because the drama is not something to be judged, right? Drama is a part of life. There's no problem with drama. You're not here to avoid drama. But if you give yourself permission to also connect with your power, with the part of you that is unshakable in your knowing of who you are and who you be in this moment, you're going to find that the drama itself is like interesting entertainment. if you have ever watched any reality shows, you will know that there's a level of heightened dramatizi- dra- dramatization. Is that the right word? There's an exaggeration, right, of the dramatic aspect, and I think this week kind of has that vibe. So watch for that, and I hope that you remember this message the when the intensity increases. Okay, so let's pull a few cards and see what um, messages want to come through for us for the coming week. So I just pulled three cards for us here. The first one is the Prince of Discs. The second one is the Empress. And the last one is the Princess of Cups. So I'm going to sit with these for a second and see what wants to come through. I'm reminded that at the beginning of July, when I was doing the themes for the coming month, the portal card for that, as in what we need to be walking ourselves through, was the Empress. And if I remember correctly, it was something about accessing fertility and abundance as a portal, recognizing the inherent abundance that's present at any given moment, and also recognizing this concept of fertility. And I don't remember fully what I said at the beginning of that episode. You can go back to that episode if you want, but my sense of it in this moment is something about capacity, right? About really noticing your capacity to be with abundance, and where are you afraid of receiving more of what you actually want, because you are bracing, some part of you is bracing against how getting what you want is also going to bring in what you don't want, which is actually the nature of reality itself. When you bring in more of what you want, you're also going to get more of what you don't want. This is not a problem. This doesn't mean that you are manifesting it incorrectly. This simply means that um the channel is widening. The channel for abundance, the channel for the flow of abundance is getting larger in size, and so more is coming through. And when more is coming through, you are actually that's a sign that you are in a state of allowing, right? And when you're in a state of allowing, more materials come through, more insights come through, more data comes through. And some of that data, your mind is going to interpret as good, and some data your mind is going to interpret as bad, right? So, where people get a lot of issues, or where people get stuck when it comes to reality creation, which is my preferred term than manifestation, because manifestation almost has this, at least for me, it feels like manifestation has this energy of like, I'm going to go to the ATM of the universe and I'm just going to order this X amount of money, right? There's kind of that vibe that I think is not inherent to the word manifestation itself, but has become part of the culture, let's just say, which is tricky, right? Because a lot of the manifestation teachings are actually very powerful, and they point to the truth of how reality works, which is really what we want to orient towards. This is what we care about, right? Everything else is just fluff. Everything else is just man-made drama. Truly, truly. And I don't mean that as a judgment. I mean that as a fact. It's just man-made noise. So going back to the Empress, and I love how this message is kind of coming through as we're closing the month, because I feel like this is July is shaping up to be a very kind of full circle month. We're coming back to this reminder that we're really moving through this process of seeing and being more of ourselves, seeing more of ourselves, being more of ourselves, letting that come through and letting that be a gift, letting that be an offering to the world around us. And that process of allowing more of ourselves to be present is actually widening the channel, widening the river of flow of data that is becoming available to us. And through the widening, you are receiving more, you are feeling more, you are seeing more. And that can have this impact of, on a nervous system level, feeling kind of crunchy for you. So if you are in a moment of crunch, let's do a little exercise. I want you to put your hand on your heart space and let your hand rest there, maybe making kind of little circles with the palm of your hand, moving it in one direction, maybe clockwise, and then moving counterclockwise. And feeling your breath settling more deeply. Noticing the sensations that are present at the soles of your feet, sensations that are present in your back. Adjusting your position if that feels necessary. And being with where your body wants to be. Does your body want to orient more towards movement? Does your body want to orient more towards relaxation? For a long time, you've been trying to control what you are trying to say. And this causes a lot of stress in your body. This takes you out of the state of allowing. There's a song that wants to come through you, and this song is so beautiful. For the right people, the song is going to sound like a siren call. It's so healing for people to hear this. It's so comforting for people to hear this. It gives them a sense of relief, not necessarily because it's who they are, but you being who you are and not holding yourself back, trusting that who you are is actually the greatest gift you can give other people. Essentially, what you're doing is you're becoming an energetic lighthouse to other people. You are signaling to others that it's okay for them to also be who they are in that moment, that they don't have to hold back. And when we stop holding back, something magical begins to happen. Something starts to open up. And often, what follows this process is there's a little bit of cleanup that's necessary. To me, this is really the energy of Virgo and Pisces, right? When we allow more, we are in that Piscean energy. And then inevitably, it leads us into a moment of editing, a chapter of editing. This is not actually a sign that you're doing anything wrong. This is not a sign that your expansion needs to be curbed. This is just how the universe works. It works through expansion and contraction, right? It's like an accordion. You know, if you know the musical instrument, the accordion, it like moves, it expands and then it contracts, right? Or similarly, if you look at a gong, for example, when you strike the gong, the sound ripples out and then it lands, right? And the sound dissipates. That's just how things are. And so part of working with the Empress here that we're being invited to again at the end of the month is remember that you're in this process. Remember that you're in the process of seeing the inherent abundance of your life, being grateful for that, practicing gratitude around that, and then on the other hand, also noticing where are you not allowing yourself to move with the flow of life? Where are you not allowing yourself to shift into the most creative, the most expressed, the most gorgeous part of you? I'm seeing a pearl as I'm looking at this, that you're now ready to see the pearl that is arising as a result of you continuing to commit to who you are. The next card here is the Prince of Discs, and this card is the portal card in this reading. So, the portal that you're moving yourself through at the end of the month here is a project. You're really working on a very specific project at this time. That project could be in your relationship, that project could be at work, that project could be a family thing, it could be your own personal development. It could be you looking at a very specific aspect of your journey in this chapter. And the encouragement here is to bring focus into this project. Again, as I mentioned at the beginning of this reading, there's a lot happening and things feel dramatic, especially if you look outwards to the collective. There's a lot happening that feels outside of your control. Your job is to continue being devoted and committed to what is actually yours to do. And the first step to doing this is to specify the scope of this project. And this project could be something very simple. This project could be, I want to be reading The Artist's Way for the month of July, for this week, maybe. Or I want to finish these 5 podcasts that I know are going to feed me, right, on a spiritual level. Whatever it is your projects are, it could be something like that, or it could be a real project that you have. It could be something that you're working on at work. It could be a relational pattern that you are unraveling together lovingly with your romantic partner. Whatever this project is, I invite you to really sit down and write the parameters for this project. So here are some questions that could help you with that. First question is, what is this project? In other words, why am I doing this? What is my intention in engaging in this project? What am I hoping to get out of it? How do I know that I've succeeded? How do I know that I'm straying away from my path? How do I know that what I'm doing is working? What are some of the signs that what I'm doing is working? And I want you to sit with these questions and try to see, as you're sitting with them, if there's a tendency to go up into your mind and try to figure it out. And this is not wrong, right? This is the way of working mentally, especially when working with these questions. You do have to involve the mind, right? It's not like you can lobotomize your brain. But what I want to do is to have you become aware of that energetic pattern of all of your energy going into your mind. And I want you to breathe into that tendency and to start allowing your energy to also be present in your heart space and then in your belly space and the soles of your feet. So begin to adjust the energy and really allow the energy in your body as you're working with these questions to be more evenly distributed throughout your body. Because as you do that, it's going to give you more flow. You might be able to answer these questions more easily, or you might be able to touch in with a sensation or a feeling or an energetic awareness, an energetic information that can enrich your mental exploration of what this project even is. Get clear about what the projects are and then really give yourself permission to focus on this project. You are allowed to shut out all the other information, all the other stimuli that is causing interference. And some of these interferences could be coming from within as well. If you notice that there's a part of you that wants to prove how smart you are, how worthy you are, I want you to stop. And I want you to recenter into what is actually here for you. What am I actually working on? Right? Why am I doing this? What would I like to accomplish? Because coming back to that awareness is going to give you access to return to the present moment. The Prince of Discs is so much about rooting in present time. The Prince of Discs is not moving super quickly, but it is moving deliberately with intention and with direction. And then the teacher card, which in this reading feels to me like also we can say this is the teacher card. We can also say this is the energy that's hidden. And it's very interesting because the energy that's hidden, that is beyond the level of our conscious mind, slightly underneath our conscious mind, is also a teacher for us. And my sense is, yes, this energy is a teacher, and also you allowing yourself to go through the journey of becoming more intimate and becoming more deeply aware of this energy. This is also going to be the teacher. And this card is the Princess of Cups. There's artistry that wants to come through you in this moment. The Princess of Cups is a dreamer, and you might find that as you're working on your project, you may want a little bit more spaciousness, a little bit more time to sit around, not fully know what you're doing, maybe experimenting if that feels good, or maybe just imagining. There's also a relational component here. If you are at a point in your journey where you don't feel like you can talk to someone about what you're currently moving through, I want you to identify if there's a friend that you can reach out to, or if there's a partner that you can engage in this work, or if there's a healer that you trust. Maybe that's your therapist or your energy worker, your astrologer, whoever that is. I want you to reach out to them and ask for support. The Princess of Cups is in this reading pointing to the need for being heard, for being mirrored, for being understood as you are, rather than someone coming in with an agenda of trying to do a good job or trying to blah, 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 right? Like, again, this theme of the human drama keeps returning because this week, that component of reality is being heightened very strongly. And you will feel that. And part of working with that is to not succumb to it in a way, to not focus too hard on getting taken. Okay, so let me rephrase that. Notice when the human drama is happening and notice when your energy wants to follow that. Because it's very tempting. It's very, very tempting when there's a lot of external kerfuffles to want to just hop on over and lose your power of choice. So Princess of Cups is really saying the way to resource yourself to not get carried away in the concerns of other people that are who are throwing energies asking you to be in sameness with them. And what I mean by that is usually when people are distressed, when people are freaked out, it's usually because there's an error in the way that they are thinking, in the way that they are considering the situation. Because when that error is being addressed, usually very quickly, people start to, without them realizing it, shift into a different pattern of breathing, shift into a different posture. Maybe they sit a little differently. Maybe they relax the muscles around their eye area, right? Whatever that is, there's a process that's actually happening somatically that is facilitated by them shifting into a different way of thinking. Our minds are such powerful engines for a lot of us because we have been taught to develop the mind so strongly. And sometimes what we consider being a responsible adult or thinking responsibly about something is actually what we're doing is our energies are completely exiting our bodies and we start to we leave our bodies to be vulnerable to other influences, right? Other influences, maybe the concerns of the collective or other people's agenda, what other people think we should do, right? So we really leave our own being, our own vessel, and then we have a hard time actually making decisions from that space, actually assessing the situations correctly because we're not ourselves. We're really not ourselves. So this is happening all the time, by the way. Most people are doing this. Most people are not aware of their energy. And so that lack of awareness could match, resonate with your own lack of awareness inside of you as well. So the way to work with that is actually quite simple, which is notice when that's happening. Notice when there's a part of you that is starting to come out of your own knowing into another person's urgency, another person's agenda, another person's stories about what should and should not be done. And rather than following that, one thing you could do, right, as we've talked about, is focus on your project, focus on your own paper. But also, a resource that could be helpful here is to sit with a trusted processor so that you could really tend to this part. You could really tend to the part of you that is worried, is worried about the other person, right? This part is really kind, really compassionate, really empathic. And also, they need to be taught to run their energies differently so that they can actually be helpful when it's called for, right? You matching the energy of the other people or this other person who is currently being freaked out, who is currently not thinking very clearly, who is clearly not grounded in who they actually are and the extent of their power, is not going to do any good for anybody. So this to me is a very clear message of be in your own power, be in your own knowing, and as a resource, remember that there is also this part of you who is a little bit younger, who is a dreamer, who wants to help everybody. And that part is asking for you to witness them. That part is asking for you to sit with them a little longer. And if it helps, find another person to do that with. Overall, this reading is about how things are moving in an intense way during this week for you. And this is not a bad thing. This is actually something that's really um, going to uplevel you very quickly, if that's the word you want to use. Um, I like the word expansion a little bit more, because to me, we're not just moving up, we're also moving in all directions. We're expanding in all directions. We're becoming more of who we actually are, and sometimes the process of that can look like feeling restrictions or feeling held back. And you're really moving through the portal. The theme here of the month is you're moving through the portal of remembering your inherent abundance. And the way that you can do that is actually paradoxically to contract your tendency to be involved in everybody else's stories, be involved in everybody else's drama, right? And to really focus, to really specify your own journey, your own project, what matters to you. And a resource that is available to you but currently may feel hidden is touching back in with that part of you that is the dreamer, right? That part of you that is connected to the vision of what's possible. And giving yourself permission to share that with people who can receive that fully, who is not imposing their own agenda onto you and isn't particularly interested in seeing you only in the ways that they see you so that you do something for them. This is huge. And notice, even as I'm saying that, what are some of your mental conceptions about what people want from you? Because that also is your own story. And the truth often emerges on its own. The truth is not something that you hold on to, right? Truth is always speaking to us in the moment. So if there's a part of you that has stories about this friend is like this or that friend is like this, I want you to set that aside for a few minutes here and just practice looking at your life more clearly. All right. I hope this is helpful. If you would like to work with me, if you would like me to pull some cards and then channel messages from your own spirit back to you, I am available for doing cards reading with you. This is one of my favorite things that I get to do, which is sit in one-on-one spaces with people. And if you would like to go even deeper, I invite you to check out my ongoing guidance container. This is really where we do the real work, where you get to have access to me for an extended period of time, and we get to work with whatever is really percolating in your life and practicing what presence actually looks like, right? Something that a few of my clients have been working with actually this month has been working with family. You know, a lot of us travel during the summer, a lot of us see family, and that can bring up all sorts of interesting old stories, right? Old woundings that we are still holding in our bodies. And what a great opportunity to heal these patterns and to start operating from a different version of who you are, from who you are today, not from who you were when you were 15, right? So if that work sounds exciting, and if you would like to do that work ongoingly, I would love to do that with you. I have a couple spots for ongoing guidance that I feel some of you could really enjoy and could benefit from. And if you want to heal your relationship with your inner artist, to work with your creativity, to also work with a creative project that you've been dreaming about, or maybe you want to pick up a new skill, maybe you want to pick up painting, you want to pick up writing, whatever it is, making music. If that sounds exciting to you, whatever your modality is, my program, Creative Exorcism, I believe is going to really be helpful. So this program has been going on for a few weeks now with the cohort that is moving through it live, doing the challenges daily live, but it's also available if you just want to hop on. It's an independent study program. You get to share your insights through the course portal, through the comments there, and you get to ask your questions to me. Um, and I'll answer every couple weeks. And so this program is available for you whenever you feel like starting that process, you know? And that's what I love about programs that are designed kind of asynchronously. And I think this program is so potent. It's so beautiful. I love seeing how folks are interacting with it. It's just so incredible. So I encourage you to check that out if that feels like the kind of work you want to be doing in this moment. It's 9 weeks of looking at distortions in your mind, in your psyche, in your energy field with regards to creativity, and then to start shifting out of that, which is so profound. Our art practice, our creative practices are really microcosms of our relationship with reality in general. So, having a creative project is highly recommended if you want to live in deeper alignment with yourself, because that process is really going to show you where you're still getting tripped up, and the best thing is you don't have to have someone point it out rudely to you. You can see it in your own process, and you get to practice being really compassionate, being really understanding, being kind, and being clear to yourself. Okay. I hope this episode has been helpful for you in walking your path. I am sending you so much love, and I hope that we see each other again very soon. All right. Take care, everyone.